The moment your paycheck hits your bank account, you have exactly 15 seconds before your brain starts plotting how to waste every single cent. It sounds like an exaggeration, but 15 seconds is truly all it takes for most people to mentally spend money they have not even touched yet. Your mind immediately begins calculating how many new gadgets you can buy, how many times you can order delivery this week, or if you can finally grab those shoes that have been mocking you from your online shopping cart for days. But what if those same 15 seconds were actually the thin line between being broke forever and building massive wealth? What if there was a simple routine you could trigger every time you get paid that would automatically put you ahead of 90% of the population? I have spent years studying what separates those who struggle from those who succeed, and it all comes down to what happens the second that money arrives. If you are tired of wondering why your bank account looks like a ghost town by the middle of the month and you actually want to build a real future, this is for you. Here is a reality check that might sting a little. The average person has absolutely no idea where their money actually goes after payday. They know the rent gets paid somehow, the fridge is somewhat full, and their streaming services magically keep working. Beyond that, it is pure financial chaos. They are essentially financial sleepwalkers, wandering through life and wondering why they never have anything left over at the end of the month. The truth is that most people treat their paycheck like a surprise birthday gift instead of the powerful wealth-building tool it actually is. They get excited when the notification pops up, spend it on things they probably do not need, and then spend the next 2 weeks eating instant noodles while staring at their banking app in despair. Successful individuals do something entirely different. They follow a system and a strict routine that starts the very moment the money hits. It is not flashy, it is not particularly exciting, and it definitely will not make you famous on social media, but it works flawlessly. Once you adopt this method, you will wonder how you ever managed to survive without it. The secret is realizing that your paycheck is not just cash you earned. It is your future financial freedom delivered in monthly installments. Every single dollar that enters your account is a tiny building block that either builds your empire or disappears into the void of impulsive spending. Most people handle their finances backwards. They pay all their bills, buy whatever they want, and then try to save whatever is left over. Spoiler alert, there is never anything left over. It is like trying to fill a bucket with a massive hole in the bottom and wondering why it will not hold any water. Those who actually build wealth flip this entire process upside down. They pay themselves first, assign a mission to every dollar, and make their money work just as hard as they did to earn it. They understand that financial success is not just about making more money, although that certainly helps. It is about having a system that works regardless of your income level. Think about it this way. If you earn $50,000 a year and consistently invest 10% of it, you will end up in a much better position than someone earning $100,000 who spends every penny. The person with the lower income in a system will retire in luxury, while the high earner will be stuck working until they are 80 because they never learned how to manage what they had. This leads us to the foundation of everything we are going to talk about today. Before you can build wealth, you must know exactly where your money is going. And I mean exactly. Not a vague guess about your big expenses, but a precise map of where every single dollar is allocated. The first step in our paycheck routine might sound a bit dry, but it is absolutely critical to your success. You need to determine what percentage of your income goes toward necessities. These are the things you literally cannot live without. We are talking about housing costs like rent or your mortgage, food that actually keeps you alive, basic transportation, essential utilities, and healthcare. Please notice that I did not mention the premium cable package, the gym membership you have not used in months, or your subscription to 10 different streaming services. Those might feel necessary when you're bored, but they are not actually required for your survival. This is where most people get it completely wrong. They look at their expenses and convince themselves that everything is a necessity. That expensive car payment becomes essential transport, and daily coffee shop visits become vital fuel for productivity. But here is the reality check you probably do not want to hear. If you're spending more than 60% of your take-home pay on true necessities, you are either living somewhere too expensive for your income or you are mislabeling luxuries. Let us look at a real example to put this in perspective. Imagine someone earning $75,000 per year. After taxes, they are taking home roughly $4,750 each month. If their rent is $1,800 and their car is $400, they are already spending a large chunk. Add $500 for groceries, and they are at $2,700 in monthly expenses. That is about 57% of their take-home pay, which is actually quite reasonable. But here's where it gets interesting. That same person might look at their budget and think they are barely scraping by if they are also paying for countless subscriptions and eating out every night. The key is being brutally honest about what you actually need versus what you want. Your future financial freedom depends on your ability to make this distinction clearly and consistently. Once you know your true necessity percentage, you will know exactly how much money you have available for everything else. And everything else is where the magic truly happens. This is how you start building wealth instead of just surviving from paycheck to paycheck. This is exactly why we created the Billy Finance channel, to give you the tools to take control of your future. So make sure to subscribe and join our community of wealth builders. The second critical step happens before you even think about spending money on anything fun or optional. You must ensure you are staying current on any debt payments you might have. This is not about paying off every debt immediately, though that is a great goal for later. This is about protecting your credit score and avoiding late fees that can destroy your progress. Your credit score is like your financial reputation. In our current system, that reputation affects almost everything you do. It determines your interest rates on a mortgage, whether you qualify for a car loan, and sometimes even if you can rent an apartment or get a job. Here's something that might surprise you about credit scores. The difference between excellent credit management and a total disaster often comes down to just one missed payment. If you make 99% of your payments on time, you are considered good. But if you drop to 97%, your score will tank dramatically. Think about that for a second. School, 97% would get you an A+, but in the world of credit, it makes you a high-risk borrower. The system is unforgiving, but the rules are simple. Make your minimum payments on time every single time, and your score will take care of itself. This step is not glamorous, but it is the foundation that everything else is built upon. Now that the foundation is set, it is time to talk about something most people ignore until it is too late: building an emergency fund. I know that emergency funds are about as exciting as watching paint dry. But stay with me, because this might be the most important part of your entire strategy. An emergency fund is money you set aside for when life decides to throw you a curveball. And trust me, life loves throwing curveballs. Your car breaks down right before a big trip, or your laptop dies when you need it most. The goal is to have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved in an account you can access immediately. This money should not be in the stock market where it might lose value right when you need it. Do not lock your money away in a certificate of deposit where it is out of reach for 6 months. Keep your cash in a standard, perhaps even boring, savings account where it is ready to rescue you the moment things go sideways. Think back to the example we discussed earlier. If your monthly essentials cost $2,700, your emergency fund should ideally sit between $8,000 and $16,000. That might feel like an impossible mountain to climb, especially if you are currently living from one paycheck to the next. However, remember that you are not expected to save the entire amount in a single day. There is a secret about emergency funds that often goes unmentioned. They are not just about the literal dollars and cents. They are about your peace of mind. When you have 3 to 6 months of living expenses tucked away in your account, you experience a different kind of sleep at night. You carry yourself with more confidence at work because you know that if your job disappeared tomorrow, you would not be forced to live in your car or survive on instant noodles. This is exactly where many people make a critical mistake. They mistakenly believe their emergency fund needs to generate massive investment returns. To chase those gains, they put the money into risky assets or lock it in accounts that are difficult to access quickly. Then, when a real crisis strikes, they find their money is either worth far less than they started with, or they are hit with massive penalties just to get to it. Your emergency fund needs to be liquid and frankly quite dull. Place it in a high-yield savings account that is government insured and let it be. You are not using this specific pile of cash to get rich. You are using it to stay financially stable when life becomes chaotic. Once you have established this safety net, you have officially graduated from financial survival mode into the exciting phase of building real wealth. This is where the journey gets interesting and where most people begin to see genuine progress toward their dreams. Step 4 is the point where you start investing for your future self. This is the moment when the incredible power of compound interest begins to work in your favor. If your employer provides any kind of retirement plan that includes matching contributions, this must be your absolute top priority for your money. Think of an employer match as a guaranteed gift. If your boss walked up to you every month and offered you free cash just for putting some of your own money into savings, you would think they were being incredibly generous, right? That is exactly what a match represents. It is free money that far too many people leave on the table simply because they do not realize how powerful it truly is. Imagine you earn $60,000 per year and your company matches 3% of your salary. This means if you contribute $1,800 annually to your retirement, your employer adds another $1,800 on top of it. You have effectively doubled your money the moment you put it in. Try to find any other investment that guarantees a 100% return on day one. Beyond securing that match, you should aim to invest about 10% of your gross income toward your retirement. That might sound like a large percentage when you are just starting, but keep in mind that this money will be working for you for many decades. The earlier you begin this process, the less you will actually need to contribute each month to reach your ultimate goals. Consider this mind-blowing fact about the timing of your investments. If someone starts investing $300 every month at age 25 and earns an average annual return of 8%, they will have roughly $1 million by the time they reach age 65. However, if that same person waits until age 35 to start investing that exact same amount, they will only have about $400,000 at retirement. That 10-year delay literally costs them $600,000 in the long run. In the world of investing, time is quite literally money. Every single month you spend waiting is money that you are essentially throwing away. The strangest part about this step is that most people overthink it to the point of paralysis. They spend months researching the perfect strategy, reading about different funds, and analyzing complex data as if they were trying to solve a global crisis. The reality is that for most people, a simple and diversified index fund that tracks the overall stock market is perfectly sufficient for building long-term wealth. You do not need to be a professional stock picker or try to outsmart the experts. You simply need to start investing consistently and let the math do the heavy lifting for you. Once your retirement contributions are running on autopilot, it is time to confront any debt you have that is not your mortgage. This stage can feel very emotional because debt often represents past choices or circumstances that felt out of your control. There are two primary strategies for attacking debt, and both are effective if you remain disciplined. The first is the avalanche method, where you focus on paying off the debts with the highest interest rates first. Mathematically speaking, this is the most efficient way to save money on interest charges over time. The second approach is known as the snowball method, where you pay off your smallest debts first regardless of the interest rate. While this might not be the most mathematically perfect strategy, it is incredibly motivating. Seeing a debt disappear completely gives you the momentum and psychological boost you need to keep going. I personally find the snowball method to be superior because personal finance is driven more by psychology than by pure math. If paying off a small balance first keeps you excited about the process, then it is the right strategy for you, even if it costs a few extra dollars in interest along the way. The key is to pick one plan and follow it until every bit of your non-mortgage debt is gone. Do not overcomplicate it or switch strategies in the middle of the process. Most importantly, do not ignore your debt and hope it will somehow vanish on its own. Once you have secured your employer match and are making real progress on your debts, you can explore other avenues like opening private retirement accounts. A Roth account is particularly powerful because all of your investment gains grow completely tax-free. You pay taxes on the money you put in today, but when you retire and start taking that money out, you will not owe the government a single penny on the growth. It is like planting a fruit tree today and getting to keep every single piece of fruit it produces for the rest of your life without sharing it. The limits on how much you can contribute change from year to year, but the core concept remains the same. You are investing money that has already been taxed so that your future wealth belongs entirely to you. For your standard investment accounts outside of retirement plans, the tax rules are a bit different. You will pay taxes when you sell an investment for a profit, but the rate depends on how long you held that asset. If you hold it for more than 1 year, you qualify for lower long-term tax rates. If you sell in less than a year, you pay your regular income tax rate on those gains. This is exactly why successful investors focus on the long term. They are not trying to get rich overnight by trading stocks constantly. They are building wealth at a steady pace while keeping their tax bill as low as possible. The final piece that brings this entire system together is perhaps the most vital step of all. It is the factor that separates people who just talk about wealth from those who actually achieve it. You must automate every single part of the process we have discussed. Willpower is a lot like a muscle that gets tired as the day goes on. You might wake up on Monday feeling incredibly motivated to manage your money perfectly. But by Thursday evening, when you are exhausted from work and stressed by life, that motivation has usually evaporated. You will look at your bank account and tell yourself that you will move money to savings next week instead. The reality is that next week, you will likely have even less energy to deal with it. This is why automation is absolutely essential for success. When your money moves automatically according to a preset plan, you take human emotion and laziness out of the equation. Your wealth grows whether you are having a fantastic day or a terrible one, and whether you feel motivated or completely burned out. Here's how a solid automation system works in practice. When a paycheck hits the checking account, let it sit there for exactly 1 day. This is not because the money needs time to settle, but simply to ensure that everything clears correctly. Then, on the following day, automatic transfers should trigger like clockwork. A specific amount moves from checking into savings. From there, other automatic transfers send money toward specific goals. Some might go toward the emergency fund if it is still being built. Some might go straight into investment accounts. If you are self-employed, some should go into a separate account for future taxes. The beauty of this system is that you never have to think about it again. You never have to remember to move money or fight the urge to spend cash that should be building your future. It all happens automatically, just like paying your rent or your phone bill every single month. However, this is exactly where the majority of people fail when it comes to the concept of automation. They establish these automatic transfers once and then completely neglect to update them as their life circumstances evolve. For instance, they might earn a significant promotion at work, yet they continue to save the exact same dollar amount instead of bumping up their savings percentage. Or perhaps they finally clear a debt but fail to channel that extra monthly cash toward their investment portfolio. They are essentially flying on financial autopilot without ever checking if their flight plan is still accurate or relevant. Developing a paycheck routine is not rocket science, but it is incredibly effective because most individuals never actually commit to a consistent system. You need to start viewing your income as a powerful tool for building wealth rather than just play money you discovered between the sofa cushions. Set everything to automate and remain disciplined with your overall strategy. If you do this in 5 years, you will be smiling at how easy it was while everyone else is still scratching their heads wondering where all their money went. Make sure to subscribe to Billy Finance so you never miss a chance to grow your wealth. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. What is your biggest challenge with saving money? Let me know in the comments below.